Two significant political figures, former U.S. President Donald Trump and Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny, have recently been at the center of legal and political battles. Trump and executives at the Trump Organization have recently been ordered by a New York judge to pay over $364 million in a civil fraud case filed by New York Attorney General Letitia James. The case, stemming from a 3-year investigation, accuses Trump and his associates of inflating asset values to enhance financial gains, reflecting allegations of corruption and misuse of power that have plagued Trump's presidency and post-presidential life. Meanwhile, Navalny, Russia's prominent opposition figure, tragically passed away in a remote Russian prison at the age of 47, sparking international condemnation and scrutiny of Russia's human rights record. Navalny's death follows years of persecution by the Russian government, including repeated arrests, trials, and imprisonment, highlighting the ongoing suppression of dissent and opposition under President Vladimir Putin's regime. However, interestingly enough, both cases underscore the challenges faced by political dissenters and the persistence of corruption and authoritarianism in both the United States and Russia. And interestingly enough, I came to a conclusion. Now, I'm not a political person. I try to see things from a fair perspective. I look at both sides of the spectrum. Okay. And I have noticed that there are, surprisingly enough, similarities between both Donald Trump and Alexei Navalny. In fact, there are multiple points that show similarities on how both men have been persecuted, or not persecuted, but I would say attacked politically. Both face legal persecution, right? Both Donald Trump and Alexei Navalny have faced legal persecution orchestrated by their respective governments. Trump has faced numerous investigations, numerous lawsuits, and impeachment proceedings during his presidency and afterward. Navalny, as a prominent opposition figure in Russia, has been repeatedly arrested, tried, and imprisoned on various charges, widely seen as politically motivated. Also, both men received allegations of corruption. Both Trump and Navalny have been vocal critics of corruption within their governments. Trump has faced accusations of financial impropriety, conflicts of interest, misuse of power, particularly concerning his business dealings and potential violations of campaign finance laws. Navalny also has campaigned extensively against corruption in Russia's government, exposing alleged embezzlement and graft among top officials. Both have challenged leadership. Both figures have directly challenged the leadership of their respective countries. Trump, as President of the United States, faced widespread criticism and opposition from political rivals, activists, and the media. Navalny, despite being barred from running for office in Russia, has actively campaigned against President Vladimir Putin's regime, advocating for political reforms and democratic change. Both men have utilized social media extensively. Both Trump and Navalny have used their social media platforms to communicate directly with their supporters and amplify their messages. Trump's use of Twitter during his presidency was particularly notable. We all remember that, allowing him to bypass traditional media channels and directly address his base. Navalny has leveraged platforms like YouTube and Twitter to disseminate information, mobilize protests, and rally support for his anti-corruption campaigns. All right. Now, both condemned mainstream media. We all know about Trump, what he says about that all the time. Both figures criticize mainstream media outlets, alleging bias and unfair coverage. Trump frequently derided news organizations as fake news and accused them of spreading misinformation to undermine his administration. Similarly, Navalny has accused Russian state-controlled media of propaganda and censorship, often relying on alternative sources to disseminate his message. You guys remember RT? Whatever happened to RT? Anyway, both face allegations of authoritarianism. Both Trump and Navalny have raised concerns about authoritarian tendencies within their governments. Trump's rhetoric, actions, including attempts to undermine democratic institutions and centralize power, have drawn criticism for authoritarian behavior. Similarly, Navalny has accused Putin's government of suppressing dissent, curtailing civil liberties, and consolidating power through undemocratic means. Both men face personal attacks and character assassination. Both Trump and Navalny have been targets of personal attacks and character assassination. Trump faced relentless criticism of his character, his temperament, and personal conduct from political opponents, media pundits, and activists. Navalny has been subjected to similar attacks, including smear campaigns orchestrated by Russian state media, pro-government factions aimed at discrediting his reputation and undermining his credibility as a political leader. Now, both have gained international attention and support. Both men have garnered significant international attention and support, actually, for their respective causes. Trump's presidency attracted global scrutiny and sparked debates about the future of American democracy. Interesting. Now we're in, 5 wars, 6 wars? It's so many wars now, it's hard to count. Anyway, while Navalny's activism has drawn attention to human rights abuses and political repression in Russia, both men have received vocal support from allies and advocates around the world, as well as condemnation from critics and adversaries. And again, legal battles, court proceedings. Both Trump and Navalny have been embroiled in legal battles and court proceedings as a result of their political activities. Trump has faced numerous lawsuits, investigations, and legal challenges related to his business dealings, personal conduct, and presidential actions. Navalny has, of course, been repeatedly arrested, tried, and imprisoned by Russian authorities on charges ranging from fraud to defamation and what critics characterize as politically motivated persecution. Interesting. And of course, both men have populist appeal. Both Trump and Navalny have cultivated populist appeal, capitalized on public dissatisfaction with established political elites. Trump's America's First agenda resonated with many voters, disillusioned with traditional politics and eager for change. Navalny's anti-corruption campaigns and calls for political reform have struck a chord with Russians frustrated by widespread corruption and a lack of accountability in their current government. So, what do you guys think about that? It looks like there are many similarities between both men, what both men have been going through. This latest thing with Trump and him paying all this money, being taken off the ballot, it does seem, just not trying to be political here, but it does seem like there is like a huge push for some type of punishment on him? Is it just because of his business practices, or is it really because, certain people or the powers that be don't want him running from office? They're trying to put him in jail. They're trying to raid his pockets. Same thing with Navalny. Rest in peace. I hate when people die. That's a horrible thing. But same thing with him. He had so many political enemies. He was in prison and put in jail. So what do you guys think? Are there similarities? Is this a conspiracy? Like, subscribe, tell me what you guys think. I love to hear your opinions. Guys, take care. Bye.